Welcome to Five, the top five podcast about five things. This is Mike and Jarvis. Hello. What are we talking about?
What you got? You've got a list. So we're doing a speed edition.
Yeah, speed edition. So 15 minutes. I'm going to do mine. What's the timer? I'm going to time myself. I'm kind of verbose.
You don't have to time yourself.
You never know, man. You never know. Okay, mine is the top five Star Trek movies. Star Trek movies.
Okay.
So I love Star Trek movies. I love Star Trek. I've loved Star Trek since I was a kid. The cool thing about Star Trek is that my whole family loves it. So we all really enjoy it. So it's kind of fun to watch them. And I've seen all. I have not seen all the Star Trek movies. The only one I have not seen is Star Trek Beyond, which was the third in the new universe kind of deal. I forget what it's called, but it's called a different universe.
J.J. Abrams universe.
Yeah, I think technically it's called the name of the ship that was destroyed in the first movie, the Kent or the Keen, I forget. Star Trek heads know. But I have not seen Star Trek Beyond, and I have not seen the newest Star Trek, which is Star Trek Section 31, which I heard was absolutely terrible.
Is that a movie?
Yeah, it's a movie. But it was supposed to be a series. It's a long story. I don't even want to get into it, but apparently it's really bad. So I'll give you my top five. My number five in my list is Star Trek Generations. This is the. Have you seen this?
Hey, this is the movie with Jean-Luc Picard, right?
Yeah. So this movie.
Is this the beginning where there's like some weird looking dude and he's the guy that discovers? What is it? What do they call it? Where they can jump between places in Star Trek? It's like hyperspace.
No. Okay,
Don't they have something like hyperspace?
They have warp speed, yeah, man.
Warp speed, yeah.
No, that's a different Star Trek movie that we'll get to in a second.
Oh, okay.
This is the first generation, Star Trek The Next Generation was a very popular series in the 80s and 90s. This one, after Star Trek Next Generation ended, they made a movie, Star Trek Generations, and it was supposed to bridge the gap between the Star Trek old school universe and new school. And so it had Captain Kirk, it had Jean Picard, it had a whole bunch of things.
Weird.
Really fun. And have you ever seen it?
I don't remember seeing a movie with Jean-Luc Picard and Captain Kirk in it.
Yeah, they kind of jammed it in there, but it was good because because before it was all Star Trek old school movies. So you had Star Trek the James T. Kirk movies, and so they said, hey, Star Trek the Next Generation is going to have some movies too, and so it was good. It was a good way to seg things off. I mean, it's not the greatest Star Trek movie, but if I would say, hey, if you want to get into some Star Trek movies, Star Trek Generations is definitely one of the places I would start. It's definitely my top five. You should watch it if you haven't watched it. I'm kind of surprised you haven't seen it. I might actually turn it on today when I'm messing around.
Just watch it, yeah.
Number 4 is Star Trek The Undiscovered Country. So it's Star Trek 6, The Undiscovered Country. This is the old school Star Trek with the original cast and crew. This was about the Klingons.
What's his name? What's the guy that plays James T. Kirk? William Shatner.
William Shatner. Yeah. So it has William Shatner. It has Leonard Nimoy, David Frost Kelly, and it's about the Klingons. And so the Klingon homeworld is that I think their moon explodes and they have a ecological catastrophe, and so the Klingons have to be what's it called? Replaced or not replaced? Relocated. And so they need the Federation's help to do that. And then, but the Klingons and the Federation has had 2 wars, and so they are definitely not friendly with each other. In Star Trek, The Search for Spock, Klingons killed Kirk's son, which was a whole thing. So it was about Kirk trying to come to terms with his hatred of Klingons and trying to move past it. And it actually worked out pretty well. It was pretty good. I liked it. The reason why I liked it is that it was one of those movies I went to see by myself. No one wanted to see it with me. And I didn't even ask anybody to go see it with me. I just went and saw it by myself. I was young. I was in high school. Yeah. And I was like, man, going to see a movie by yourself is kind of fun.
People make a big deal about going by yourself, but you're not talking to anybody while you're watching the movie.
Yeah. Yeah, it was great.
So just go by yourself.
Yeah. And actually, I'm pretty sure my mom might have dropped me off because it was 1991.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I was a freshman.
Drop off movie. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Come pick me up later.
Big step.
Got some popcorn, chilled out, watched the movie. It was fun.
Right.
All right. I'm at what? 4? Number 3. Star Trek, the rebooted movie. So this is the reboot movie with Chris Pine, Zachary Quinto. One. Yeah, the first reboot movie back in 2009.
Okay, yeah, I've seen this one. Starts out in like Iowa or something like that.
Yeah, and so here's what happens.
Midwest.
This movie, so the original story of Star Trek is that James T. Kirk is born in Iowa and he has a family, and a mom and a dad.
I got the state right.
Yeah, he grows up normal. But in this, there's a time thing happens, and a Romulan ship from the future shows up and destroys the ship that his dad was captain of. And Kirk grows up without a father. Now, it is what it is. But would that change who he was? And it did. It changed everything. And in this movie, the Vulcan home planet is destroyed. So millions, probably billions of Vulcans are dead. And so the Vulcans are really influential in the Star Trek universe, and they're wiped out. Rotten Tomatoes has this at 94%. This doesn't deserve to be a 94%. It's an okay movie, but it's odd that it's ranked this high.
So you wouldn't give it an A?
No, I would give it a solid B. Solid B plus.
Okay. I guess a B. Yeah.
But like it looks good.
It's got that Beastie Boys song in it there.
Yeah, it looks good. It's stylistic, but there's a lot of lore wrong with it. There's a lot of Star Trek science wrong with it. There's a lot wrong with this, and
what's some science that's wrong with it?
Well, okay, so in one of the scenes, they go from Earth to like I think Vulcan or close to Vulcan by warp, but it takes them an hour to get there. That travel should take them, based off Star Trek stuff, it should take them a couple of days of warp. Just because you're at warp speed does not mean you get from one place to another instantaneously. It takes you a while. So there's stuff like that. And like, it's weird too because they rebooted the Star Trek universe, and like I guess everybody assumed that Chris Pine was going to be the new Kirk and everything else, but it didn't stick because Paramount created a new universe with Star Trek Discovery and Star Trek Brave New World that's based off of other things. And so like the whole Star Trek timeline is really wonky if you really think about it long term. So that's why I kind of put this at number 3. It's just not the greatest.
Yeah, they probably just had a movie deal with those people. They weren't going to do TV or. Yeah.
There's supposed to be a new one. I don't know if it is, but it's supposed to be
same cast.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a new reboot movie with the same cast. They've been talking about it.
Interesting.
But Paramount Plus has actually been through some bad stuff too, because they're supposed to be sold and all kinds of other stuff, and they canceled some really popular Star Trek shows. They're in real bad flux. And so what they need is someone to probably buy Paramount, and then 2, take complete control of it and fix it. Because it's messy. And some of the properties like Star Trek Discovery have mixed reviews, but Star Trek Brave New World has nothing but very high reviews. It's a really good show. And so I'm not really sure what they're going to do as far as the Star Trek universe. The Star Trek universe is a very popular property. Somebody needs to do it and do it well. What number am I on? Was that 2?
What's your number 2?
Oh, number 2 is Star Trek First Contact. Mike, what do you know of the
I think
Borg?
that's the one that I'm thinking of. That's the one that's got that kind of crazy looking guy that discovers warp speed.
Yeah. So it's directed by Jonathan Frakes. You know who Jonathan Frakes is?
He's number 2.
He is number 2 in the show and the movies. He also directs a lot of Star Trek stuff.
Really?
He's been mentioned as to be like the person who takes control of Star Trek, which I think he should.
Interesting.
Yeah, and so
I knew he directed some stuff. I didn't know he was that involved.
Oh, he's directed a lot of stuff, and they've all been pretty good. And so the show,
he's famous for that meme of like,
sitting down on a chair.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. So this movie is about the Borg. So the Borg. So what do you know of the Borg? Nothing. Okay, fine. A long time ago, it's a lot. I can't even. I don't have the time to explain this, but the Borg, which is a cybernetic,
they're cyborgs. Yeah,
cyborg group who believes in supremacy through technology. Resistance is futile. They time travel into the past and they disrupt the first time that Earth uses a warp drive. And so that was a big deal because once Earth used the warp drive, they realized they could go to different planets, and it changed. It completely changed the world. And so a guy named Zephyr Cochrane actually created the warp drive, and he is played by James Cromwell.
He's kind of dressed like a court jester versus like a 50s gas station employee or something.
Yeah, that's about right. And so
real weird costume.
Yeah, the Star Trek team follows the Borg into the past and then fights them and stuff like that. This was cool because it was an action-y movie. It had actually action in it. It felt like it had some drama to it. It really highlighted James. It highlighted Patrick Stewart or Jean-Luc Picard pretty well. It highlighted Data or Brent Spinner. It was fun to watch. I thought it was the first standalone Star Trek movie. So it was a Star Trek movie with just the Star Trek Generations cast. Very well received, super fun to watch. I had a great time watching this movie. It's almost my number one, but not quite. But this is a great movie all over. It's ranked number 2 in Rotten Tomatoes, which it deserves.
Really? Mm-hmm. Well, okay.
Yeah,
I agree with you.
Yeah, it's a great movie. You should watch it. Have you watched it before?
Yeah, I've seen it. I was able to describe that dude. Remember?
Yeah, you should watch it again.
I think I've seen it once, and it was a while ago.
Yep.
What's your number one?
Number one is
the big one.
Oh yeah, it's a big one. It shouldn't be surprising. It's Star Trek: The Wrath of Khan.
I've heard a lot about this movie.
Have you seen it?
I don't believe so.
You should watch it. It's fantastic.
Who's the guy that plays Khan?
Ricardo Montalban.
Ah, yes, the guy from
The Plane Master Plane.
Fantasy Island.
Yes, but he okay. So
he was a tall dude. He wasn't the short guy.
So the cool thing about Wrath of Khan is this actually happened in the old school Star Trek episodes back in the 60s. Like Khan. Yeah. Okay. So the story is that in 2005, 2006. These beings called these bionic enhanced beings, or these super enhanced beings are created. They're genetically enhanced people, and they get super powerful, and they actually take over the world. And Khan, it actually becomes like a war. It starts World War III, I think. And Khan's one of these guys. So at a certain point, they're all captured, and they're
all on Earth.
All on Earth. At a certain point, all these super enhanced people are gathered up, put into a spaceship, and sit out into space. And in the original show, the Enterprise finds them and then wakes them up, which is so stupid. And then, of course, they try to take over the ship. They're super strong, super smart, but Kirk ends up stopping them, gives them their own ship, and says, "Okay, you go find a place to conquer." Now, in the movie, their ship crashes onto a bad planet, and they're stranded for years. And then they accidentally find a new crew, and they find a spaceship, and they go after Kirk for revenge. And it's so much fun. It's a fun movie to watch. It's just like everything you want in a Star Trek movie. Ranked number 4 in Rotten Tomatoes. I think it should be ranked number 1 just out of respect for this movie.
Interesting.
Leonard Nimoy is like Dr. Spock is killed in the movie. It's all kinds of stuff. It's just a fantastic movie to watch. I'm probably going to watch this afternoon. There's so much fun to watch.
How many of these movies are you going to watch this afternoon?
I'm probably not going to watch any of them. I'll probably just play some video games and watch a basketball game. But I always want to. I mean, these movies are so fun. Like, this is one of those things where, like, I don't want children, but if I had a kid and he turned 12, I'd be like, "You're watching this, shut up." It's just a great fun movie to watch. Just out of control fun.
I'm curious, what does Rotten Tomatoes have at the top of their list?
Their list is the original, the Star Trek reboot, 2009 reboot's number 1. Star Trek First Contact number 2. Star Trek Beyond number 3, which is weird, but maybe it's worth it. Star Trek Wrath of Khan is number 4, and then Star Trek Into Darkness is number 5. I would not put Into Darkness as number 5. No way, it's not that good. Interesting. It's not good.
It's interesting that they have the reboot at number 1.
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't agree with this list at all. I don't think this list is very good. This is a list of people who don't watch Star Trek movies.
Right. Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. That is, right up the number. I'm right at 15 minutes. I did. Bam. Bow.
Yeah, awesome.
Perfect.
Awesome.
All right,
our
Mike.
That's our very first speed edition out of the way. Jay, how can people share this podcast with their friends?
They can send it to them via text. They can send it to them via email. They can send it through Signal. They can send it through Blue Sky. We're working on our Blue Sky account. It's a whole thing now. They can send it through Threads. Please don't send it through X. It's disgusting.
Yeah. I don't even know what that is anymore.
Yeah, it's terrible. But just send it to the friends and family. I think the best way to do it is send it through group chats. To send it to a big group chat. And if you send it and then ask your family to send it to 5 people, and they send it to 5 people, we will control the world in like weeks.
That's right. Yeah. What's the name of your Star Trek group chat that you have going?
I don't have enough friends to have a Star Trek group chat. None of my friends like Star Trek. None of my friends like any of my good geeky
If you
stuff.
have a Star Trek group chat, you must hit the share button right now.
Yeah.
And share this with them.
Hey, didn't our last guest love Star Trek? We need to get him back on.
He did love Star Trek.
We need to bring him back on.
Yeah.
Talk about Star Trek.
He needs to come back on. Yep.
Yeah. All right. See you guys next time.